Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Happy, what is that? Hump Day! Happy Wednesday. Today is July 23rd, 2025. Hope you guys are doing well. I just trying to fix something here. Hold on one second. Put that down. You know, sometimes I get caught off guard, right? But anyway, hey, we're live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. Anyone that checked out my show yesterday, I apologize again for, doing a late posting on that. I was having some serious technical difficulties yesterday where I did a whole show and it wasn't recording. I mean, it was live, just like this one is live, right? Hopefully it is, but it wasn't recording because normally, it records and I can take that same recording and put it on other platforms where it didn't record. But I was live on LinkedIn and live on YouTube, but anyway, so when I went after to, make edits or whatever, it wasn't there. I'm like, why the heck is it not here? Where is it? Anyway, enough of that, but I apologize for that. So, but it's still there. I mean, I came back later and did it. So episode or show number, what is that? 306 is there. It's been edited. The notes are there. Everything is there. So you can check it out. So just like normal, it's just that some people were probably, looking for it yesterday in the afternoon, early afternoon, and wasn't there. So, but it's there now. Okay. So I had to say that. Okay. You always got to give that disclaimer. Anyway, like I said, I'm Russell of Hotels. This is a daily check-in. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Air with Russell of Hotels, the show I was just talking about, that comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Okay. So this show right here comes on, normally about 12-ish, 12:30 afternoonish. So unless it's on Monday and I do it at 10 o'clock because I have a guest that comes on. So anyway, what do we talk about? Talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of hospitality industry. Mostly good, mostly happy, but you know what? Guess what? There's some challenging things that happen in hospitality, in the industry. I mean, we preach to be hospitable, to be happy, to be joyous, to offer this great service, but sometimes we fall short, okay? We do. We fall short, and it sometimes doesn't come out. So not just me, hotels out there, CVBs, tourism boards, restaurants, transportation companies, you name it, we all fall short. But it's okay as long as you admit to falling short and you try to do better the next time. Because that's what it's all about, right? We're all going to make mistakes every now and then, but it's how you bounce back from the mistakes that you do make. Okay, that's what it's all about. So hey, the comments are open. So like I said, live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. So if you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so. It is called Russell of Hotels. Okay, I'm Russell of Hotels. So yeah, so just go to YouTube, subscribe to it, hit that subscribe button, bing, and then you'll get notifications when I go live. Just like today, you would have got a notification that, oh my God, he's going live in like 5 minutes. I got to make sure I get my popcorn because I know it's going to be entertaining, something like that. So, so just make sure you're doing that. On LinkedIn, you don't have to subscribe, but, can we connect? I'm all about connection, about engagement and connection. So connect with me. Only thing on LinkedIn, you will not be able to make comments real time like on this show. Like right now, you can make you can make comments in real time on YouTube, but you can't do that in real time on LinkedIn. You can make the comments, and then after the show's over, I'll go to my LinkedIn page and look at it and see the comments and notes or whatever, and I'll address those things at that time. So there you go. But anyway, I never do one of these shows without showcasing a hotel, and today is no exception. The Borgata Hotel in Atlantic City. How many people have been to Atlantic City? Okay, it's like a lot of people say, oh, it's like Vegas. It has casinos. So Borgata Hotel is a casino as well. Has a lot of meeting space. Very nice hotel. Very nice. In fact, this right here, the photo or the video right here is where we had our event. I think this was a Destination East, if I'm not mistaken, Destination East, which is put on by North Star. You know what? North Star does everything, okay? They do all the ones, all the major ones, all the nice ones. No shade to anyone else, but I just happen to be a huge North Star fan. So I think this is Destination East. If it's not Destination East, it was IPEC. Some of these things just kind of roll together and I forget. But anyway, this is actually their pool area. If you can see right in back of me, you can see the platform. You can see the things that are on top of the pool. Um, so yeah, so that's actually the pool under there. But they, kind of transformed it into this tropical themed, whatever event space. So it was very nice. It was very nice. So if you haven't been to Atlantic City, yeah, it's worth the trip. It's worth checking out. Definitely the Borgata is worth the trip as well. So there you go. So shout out to my people at the Atlantic City CVB or Tourism Board. Not really sure what it's called, but I want to say Atlantic City CVB. Let's just say that they know they know what I'm talking about. It's kind of interchangeable, right? So shout out to them for putting this all together, as far as and as well as the Borgata Hotel. Shout out to them. So I always wanna you always wanna give a shout out where you can, right? Always. Top 50 social media influencers. That's me, right? That's me right there, Russell of Hotels. So social media influencers in 2025. Yeah, so I'm one of those people. Global hospitality. So this is not just here in Los Angeles. It's not just in Blythe. He's a social media influencer in Blythe, California. Well, no, 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 no. It's globally. It's everywhere, right? So shout out to Blythe, okay? Let's, just do a quick shout out to Blythe, the people in Blythe. But yeah, so no, this is globally. That means international. That means worldwide. So yeah, so I just appreciate the distinction or the recognition. So of course, anytime I do one of these shows, I want to let people know because it's all about being visible. And maybe you didn't know that, I was on this list. Maybe you didn't even know a list like this even existed. Well, it does, and I'm here to educate people because you may not know. Just like you may not know anything, you may be going to the East Coast or you're going through New Jersey, and you may be going through Atlantic City, and I need a place to stay, and maybe you didn't know about the Borgata. Maybe you're looking for a casino on the East Coast, and you're like, oh my God, I saw this Borgata hotel on Russell of Hotels show, and I want to check it out. So there you go. So you may not have known about it. And it's all about visibility. It's all about creating that brand awareness, which that's what I do. Okay, so there you go. So you can't ever say that, I don't know about the Borgata Hotel. Well, you've at least heard of it. I didn't give you a lot of information about it, but at least you have heard of it. And maybe it'll prompt you to go borgata.com and check it out. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. So, and these data check-ins don't have to be that long. So I'm going to rush. No, I'm not going to rush through it, but I'm going to, I'm not going to take long to do this. Okay. So the blog. So anything that I talk about as far as topics, anytime I do a daily check-in or on air with Russell of Hotels, that information will be on the blog. So if it's a whole outline that I'm doing, that I'm talking about or discussing, no, you don't have to write this stuff down. It's already on the blog. So just go to the blog, russellofhotels.com, go to the blog, drop down, bing, and it'll pop up. All the information I'm talking about, sometimes it'll be something colorful too, like maybe an image or something like that. All that stuff is there. So you don't have to commit to memory, like, oh my God, he said this, he said that. No. Just go to the blog, russellofhotels.com, hit the button, and it's right there. This is one of the guest rooms here. I didn't actually, so we experienced this hotel because we had an event there, but I didn't stay at this hotel. So I was able to talk to someone, you sit next to people and you network with people. You just never know who you're sitting next to. I just happened to be sitting next to the director of sales and marketing of this particular hotel. And I said, hey, do you happen to have any guest rooms available? And they did. And they said, oh my God, would you like to see them? I'm like, yeah. Just so happens they have these rooms are in a non-smoking tower. So, how far does a non-smoking tower go in a casino? Man, they were preaching to the choir, okay, because I love that aspect of it. I don't want to be smelling smoke because, some of these hotels, well, for the most part, a lot of casinos have that filtration system where you don't smell a lot of the smoke, but they have smoking rooms, okay? Well, this is in a non-smoking tower. These rooms are in a non-smoking tower. They were brand new, meaning they were just renovated. So I was like happy to see that, happy to know that. So this is information. They have about 700 rooms that are in this tower. I want to say this hotel it has to be at least 2,500 rooms, I believe, and 700 of those rooms are non-smoking or in a non-smoking tower. So a lot of my groups, or most of my groups, or 100% of my groups, they don't want smoking. So if they have to be in, if they happen to be in Atlantic City or they need to be there, boom. I remember this hotel, Borgata, non-smoking tower. There you go. So you got a little information about the hotel. So you didn't even know that. You didn't know you were going to wake up today and find out a little bit about a hotel in Atlantic City. Well, guess what? It was your lucky day because you did, right? And, and all credit gives to Russell of Hotels. There you go. Now that guy, he's something else. He always gives you the information that you need, and you don't even know that you need it until he gives it to you. So, woo, that was a good one. Anyway, okay, so the topic for today is why you should be authentic in telling a story. Why you should be authentic and telling a story, or maybe I should say telling your story, or whatever story it is. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So being authentic and telling a story, those things are important. A lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people are like, I'm not gonna tell a story. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's too hard or whatever. No, that's important because a lot of people love that. They love stories. They love stories about, particular hotels or people that work there or how you, ascended in your career. Where'd you start? I was a cocktail server, 20 years ago, and then all of a sudden I know that the next thing I know I'm in sales. You know what I mean? How did that happen? No two people got in this industry alike. I always say that. So telling a story is important. It resonates with people. Well, I'm going to go through the steps of why telling a story or being authentic is important, right? So, okay. So hold on to your shirt. Being authentic and telling a story is the one most powerful things you can do, especially in hospitality and brand building. Here's why it's not just a good thing, it's a game changer. Number one, authenticity builds trust. That's number one. People can spot a sales pitch a mile away. Hello? But when you speak from a place of truth and experience, it resonates. So if you're talking about a hotel that you work in, you're speaking from experience. I've been here, I've done this, we just finished this renovation. Okay, that's all about experience, right? Now, if you just got there, maybe you can't, you can't explain too much about the hotel because you just got there. You don't know maybe the history of the story, or maybe you haven't dealt with many groups at that hotel. So maybe you can't speak to that. But as you've been there for a while, you'll gather these stories, this information, and then you can, educate your guests or your potential clients, and that's what you want to do because people can say they can sense a sales pitch. Like, okay, yeah, you tell that to everybody. Yeah, okay, whatever. Heard that before the last one. Okay, so just make sure it's not a sales pitch. Make sure you're being authentic, okay, and telling a story. Even if you got to make one up, maybe you heard other people. This is what as a salesperson, if you're new to a hotel, of course, they don't just throw you, well, hopefully they don't throw you to the wolves like, hey, we have a site tour. I know this is your first time. You just started yesterday, but hey, can you do this site tour? You're trying to figure things out yourself. So most hotels, you will shadow someone on a site tour, right? So you're learning from them, right? You're hearing what they say, how they explain things, and next thing you know, that's part of your sales pitch. I mean, but you kind of made it your own, but the general information that person was discussing or pointing out, now you made it your own, right? You've taken that and you've made it your own, right? So that's what it's all about. So make sure when even when we just start, we're learning from the people or the person that's showing us around, because you're going to be the one doing the tours. You're going to be leading the tours at some point. So there you go. Whether you're a hotel, a destination, or a personal brand, authenticity makes you relatable. You want to be relatable, right? Trust leads to engagement, and engagement leads to bookings, loyalty, and word of mouth. That's what you want. You want people to refer, like, how'd you hear about me? Oh, Joe Smith, they had a meeting here a couple of weeks ago. Well, he's a good friend of mine, and he referred you. He referred me to your hotel. Boom, word of mouth. That's what you want, right? Who doesn't want that? People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. What? I never heard that one before. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And Simon Sinek said that. Okay. All right, Simon. Every now and then I come up with some quotes for you. Number 2, stories are memorable, data is not. Facts are forgotten, stories stick. Like the fact is this, but story, they'll remember the story, right? The facts they ain't gonna remember. The numbers, and they're not gonna remember all that stuff. A planner may not remember your square footage, but they'll remember how a bride cried when she saw the ballroom, or how your hotel team rescued a client's lost shipment before a big meeting. Don't. Yes, that is so true. Stories evoke emotion, and emotion drives action. Yeah, you know what? That's good. So yeah, so what do we do when as hotel people or as CVB people? The first thing we do? Oh, this hotel has 2,500 rooms and 130,000 square feet of meeting space, and we have all of them have windows and this and that or whatever. Okay, that's just data. That's just data about your hotel. That doesn't tell the story about. Did you know our meeting space used to be a bank vault? Yeah, back in this hotel was built in the 1920s, and as you can see, the vault is still there. The door to the vault is still there. It's just that now the inside of it, instead of a bank vault, it's now meeting space, and it's unique, as you can see. Boom. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about taking that data and telling a real story. Just quoting data, that's just a sales pitch. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe they're going to ask for that at some point. Well, they can look that up on their own. Okay. But tell the story about the space, not that the space is 1,000 square feet or whatever. It doesn't have windows, and this is the reason why. Well, yeah, if it doesn't have windows, tell the reason why. Why doesn't it have windows? Oh, because of this. It was built here, and they were going to put windows, but because of this, that's a story. Boom. There you go. Number 3, it humanizes your brand. Hotels aren't just buildings. Planners aren't just bookings. Destinations aren't just zip codes. Man, this is getting deep today. Storytelling brings out the people behind the service. Whether you're telling your journey, why Russell of hotels exists, or sharing behind the scenes moments from a hotel, it makes your brand feel real, not corporate. Real, not corporate. I love that. Man, I'm coming with some doozies today. Number 4, a differentiation through story. Every hotel has meeting space, a ballroom, and free Wi-Fi. What sets you apart is your story, your values, your purpose, your moments of service. In a sea of sameness, your story is your superpower. Don't we always talk about superpower? Oh, what's your superpower? Oh, my superpower is how I do my site inspections or how I do my site tours. Instead of starting from the bottom and working my way up, I start at the top and work my way down. Okay, so whatever that is, utilize it, right? Number 5, authenticity attracts the right clients. Always want the right clients, right? You don't want to be wasting anyone's time. Being real sorry about that. Being real filters out clients who aren't a fit and draws in the ones who are aligned with your values, your vibe, and your vision. You ever been on a site tour where you just knew the person didn't vibe what you were saying or how you were explaining things? That just tells you that's not the right fit for them. And everybody is not for everyone. Okay, you're not going to get 100% of the business that comes through your door. It's just not going to happen. 100% of the tours that you do, I book everything. Every time I do a tour, it books 100%. No, you don't want all your business. You don't want all the business, okay? Because with that can come issues. But, I mean, that's up to them to choose your hotel over the next one, okay? That's up to them. It's not your decision, but you vibe with certain people. And I can definitely say this. My clients that I have, we vibe, okay? For whatever reason, we have different, we may have some similarity somewhere. We know some of the same people, maybe something like that. How we met or whatever. I mean, I met people on a plane before, and they end up being my clients. And it's just like happenstance. Like you just happen to, just fate that someone sat next to you, okay? So, and then, she was, I remember this one particular story where this person, sits next to me. Now the plane was about to take off. I never seen this happen before. The door was closed. The plane was about to back up. In fact, you can feel the plane backing up, and it stops. Maybe it goes about 5 feet, and it stops. Boom, and then it goes back and re-engages with the walk. With the, what is it called, the walkway or whatever it's called. So they reopen the door, and two people come on, and there's two people. One person sat up front, and one person is walking down the aisle, right? And the plane was not full, and so there was two seats next to me. I'm sitting at the window, and there was the middle seat and the seat in the aisle next to me, and then it's the same on the other side. So this lady is walking down. I don't know this lady. She don't know me. Don't know anyone on the plane other than the lady that sat in the front, right? So she comes to my aisle. She sees me. She like kind of eye contact. She looks at me, looks over at the other person on the other side, right? And then says, I like the vibe over here different. I like the vibe over here better. She means next to me, and she sits next to me. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And she apologized for, oh my God, I know the plane was about to leave, and I apologize for it stopping. I just smiled and said, I can't believe, I said, I don't know what kind of pool you have, but I can't believe that they stopped the plane and re-engaged the walkway so you and I find out later that was her boss, for you guys to get on the plane. I said, I've never seen that before in my life. I fly all the time. I've never seen that before in my life. Once that door is closed, that plane is gone, right? No, it stopped, drove back up, engaged with the, whatever it's called, the walkway, and opened the door, and two people came on. Never seen that before. So instantly, she sits next to me, and I hear what she says about you got a good energy. And then she goes on to say, you have some good energy over here. She didn't know me from Adam. She just happened to sit next to me. And we talked the whole way about what she did. They were on their way to a board meeting for their organization. They're going to Arizona. I was going to Arizona too. And we just talked about, she was talking about what she did and their organization, whatever. And then she goes, well, what do you do? And I told her what I did as far as, hotel site selection. She goes, oh my God, that's what we need. We did this. We planned this thing on our own, this conference that they're going to. And I don't think we did a good job. I'm not sure if we chose the right local. She's kind of asked me, like, what do you do? What do you look for? That kind of stuff. And longer story short, they ended up using me. That was 5 years ago. They're still my client. So it's all about that attraction and attracting the right client. So I'm telling her the story about how I started, and I start off with, well, I used to, how'd you get started in this? I said, well, I used to be on the hotel side. What do you mean used to be on the hotel side? Well, I started off as housekeeping manager, blah, blah, worked my way up, and, started my own company about, at that time, maybe about 4 years ago or whatever. She was like, oh my God, that is great. I'm going to introduce you to the person that's, that's trying to plan them now, but really not sure about how to do it. I'm going to introduce you to her. And sure enough, she did. And the rest is history. So it's all about authenticity attracts the right clients. So, yeah, I told the story. Yeah, it was a long story, but it's all about the storytelling. See, you guys don't get it. And I just came out with this whole elaborate story. And I didn't just make it up. This actually did happen. So anyway. This is, like I said, this topic is on my blog, so feel free to go back or just do the replay on this, and you can do that as well. But yeah, that was a good story. That even got me going right there, and I knew the story, right? Oh, I forgot one thing. Dang it. Hold on one second. Back up. So I saw this just briefly. So at the bottom it says Southwest Airlines, right? That's SWA, Southwest Airlines. Assigned seating starts January 27th, 26th. Now, we all know about Southwest Airlines. They're getting away from their A, B, and C, boarding system where if you're in the A group, you damn near can pick where the hell you want. Or if you're in A and B, you almost can pick where you want to sit. Well, now that's going away. And that's going away on 1/27/26. So I guess if you're making any flight reservations for next year, after that date, they're going to start assigned seating. on Southwest Airlines. So this is a new thing that's going on. They're already charging for bags now. So I want to say it's 30 for the first bag, 45 for the second. So just in case you did not know that, just in case you were wondering, like, I heard about this like last year and they haven't, put it in place yet. Well, now you have a date. So January 27th of 26, that's when the assigned seating will take place. So there you go. And there'll be upgrades for certain things. And of course, all seats are not going to be the same price. The closer you get to the front, it's going to be the same thing. I'm not sure if they're going to separate like first class and things like that, but I know the closer you are to the door, they're going to charge you more money. Okay. And the ones with the like the emergency rows that have more leg room, of course, those are going to be at a premium. Okay. In fact, that's the only reason why I want to be in Group A, because I would be able to pick one of those seats. So there you go. So you got information on Southwest Airlines today. And tell a friend, right? Make sure you tell a friend. So next week, On Air with Russell of Hotels will be show number 307. I just did 306 yesterday. So if you had not checked it out, please go to, you can go to YouTube, you can go to LinkedIn, and check out the replay. The replay is still there. The replay will always be there. So once again, show 307 will be next week, next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, just like this one will be, or like this one is, right? And remember, the daily check-in is live too. And it's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So tomorrow, I'll be doing it again. So there you go. There you go. Let's see. I guess that's about it, right? Is that it? So this is showing you the living. Oh, this is kind of a living area, sitting area at this one particular room that we saw. The Borgata Hotel in Atlantic City. Frantic City. You guys used to watch the Flintstones? I remember back in the day, Flintstones are old. If you watch the original Flintstones, they were originally put on, or I want to say the 60s, right? So there's this one episode about they were going to, they called it, it was Atlantic City. They're going to casino, see the shows, the girls dancing, all that stuff. Fred and Barney were going to do that. But they called it Frantic City. Instead of Atlantic City, they called it Frantic City. Some people were like, where is he pulling this at? Where is he going with this? But yeah, it's just certain things. You know how certain things you remember, certain things that you watch as a kid, and it just kind of resonates sometimes, right? Every time I hear the term Atlantic City, I say Frantic City. Okay, so anyway. So somebody out there got it. Okay, so go and watch the Flintstones. Just go to YouTube, right? Go to YouTube and type in Flintstones Frantic City. And I guarantee you it will pop up, and it has to do with a Doozy the Dodo. Because Doozy the Dodo, a dodo bird, right? It's like a parrot, right, for the Flintstones. He was repeating everything because Barney and Fred didn't tell Wilma and Wilma and Betty where they were going. They were going to Frantic City. So anyway, I'm getting really off the mark what I'm supposed to be talking about, but go and check that out because that tells a story, right? See, it's all about the storytelling, right? Now I have a I'm just telling a story about Atlantic City and how I'm able to remember Atlantic City. It has to do with the Flintstones. So there you go. Woo, boy, that was a good one, right? Anyway, I'm almost done. So what time is it right now? Let's see, I'm at 29 minutes. These normally don't last but 20 to 25 minutes. I'm like at 30 right now. So we're almost done. So anyway, any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, russell@russellofhotels.com. That is my email, my website, which has my email and my phone number on there as well. Just go to russellofhotels.com. The blog is there as well. And just remember this, you can't expect results if you're hiding. Visibility is not luck. It should be part of your strategy. That's it. It's strategy that I do this. I do the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's strategy that I do on air with Russell of Hotels on Tuesdays, right? That's all strategy. So daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, on air on Tuesdays. So that's 5 days a week. So that is part of the strategy so I can be visible, so I can create that brand awareness. Same thing for hotels. Those are things that we should do. We should make sure that we are doing what we can to stay visible. You know, the more you stay visible as your personal brand, people get to know you. But you got to bring along your personal brand as well as the brand that you represent. That's the Borgata Hotel. Make sure you're around or make sure you're visible enough where people know exactly what the Borgata is. Because I guarantee you there's a lot of people that are going to be watching this that didn't know that Borgata even existed. Or they maybe even forgot about Atlantic City or Frantic City. So this is a way, the things that I do are a way to create that brand awareness, okay? And I'll never show a hotel that I've never been to, that I've never experienced. You'll be surprised how many people actually send me photos and links. Hey, can you put this on your show? Can you display this? Can you talk about my hotel? Well, now I've never been there, so no, I can't. I have to have been there. I have to experience it firsthand, right? I'm not one of those people that just post things because I got a stock photo like, oh, yeah, I'm here, you know, this is me. No, I'm not doing that. I have every hotel, 100% of the hotels that I show on any of my social media feeds and destinations, 100% of them, I was there. I've been there. So there you go. You got to have some integrity, people. Okay. So anyway, that is it. I want to thank you guys for joining this daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. Remember, tomorrow is Thursday, so I'll be doing it again. So any questions at all, just reach out to me. The information is there, right there. Once again, email is russell@russellofhotels.com. That is it. Have a great day. Happy hump day. And as always,